Now,
a three-game homestand for the Austin Spurs ends this afternoon against the Stockton Kings, and the Spurs are looking to head into a week-long road trip on a high note. A pleasant good afternoon to you. I'm Carl Schoening, along with our sideline reporter Lincoln Rose, our director Robert Calder, and the rest of the Zodiac Sports crew. We're happy you joined us today on Twitch. Tip-off is just moments away. Let's go ahead and check out the starting lineups for both teams as the 1-3 Austin Spurs get ready to take on the 2-2 Stockton Kings. There you see for the visiting Stockton Kings, coached by Ty Ellis, Dims, Pinheiro, Mika, Guy, and Eulis will be the starting five for the visitors from Stockton. For the Austin Spurs, Kelton Johnson, Shmezi Metsu, Diedrich Lawson, Kaderi Weatherspoon, and Matt Farrell, the five to get started for the Austin Spurs. And that'll be one free throw for 2 points here for Johnson. Get another look at it. And Dims kind of goes shoulder to shoulder before Pinheiro comes over for the block. Johnson on the San Antonio Spurs bench last night for the Trailblazers game. He gets 2 points off that one free throw, and it's a 9-5 advantage for the Austin Spurs. 9:30 left to play in the first quarter. Did not play in the game last night, but always the opportunity opportunity, and that's what a lot of these guys are out here for, to have the opportunity to play in the NBA. Pinheiro spins in the lane and finishes over Metu with a nice shift over to his right hand in the paint. Metu decides not to force the issue and lets Johnson have 15 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Farrell driving baseline. He was able to separate from Eulis, but the official, Sheree Mitchell, on the sideline there said that Farrell committed a little bit too much of a contact initiated by the offensive player, and Eulis did a good job selling it. That's another turnover. 2 offensive foul turnovers by the Austin Spurs, and Matt Farrell picks up his first there. I beg your pardon, that's actually Farrell's second. Weatherspoon also committed an offensive foul turnover. Here's Guy, step back free throw line jumper over Lawson, short, rebounded by Johnson. Weatherspoon on the wing, decides to drive baseline, kicks it to the corner, Farrell, and last touch going out of bounds by Isaiah Wright. So Isaiah Wright into the game for Stockton, 6'2", 180 out of San Diego, averaging 5 points, 4 rebounds, or 4 assists, 2 rebounds. Metu working in the paint, spins in a double team, and he's fouled on his way to the basket. The side out as Pinheiro picks up the personal foul. A little too aggressive using his knee for defense as Metu tried to take it inside. Here's Johnson with 13 seconds to shoot. Weatherspoon, jab step here against the guy. 3 seconds to shoot. Weatherspoon gets open for a look at the break, and he can't get the three-pointer ball. Timms wants to push the issue into the paint. He tosses up an awkward shot where he was falling down. Metu blocks it out of bounds, and the Stockton Kings will retain possession. But here's another look at the Metu block as Dimps kind of lost his footing against the defense of Keldon Johnson. Kyle Guy will inbound. Mika gives it right back to Guy for the 3 in the corner, and it's good. The Stockton Kings take the lead 10-9. 4 minutes into the first quarter. Double screen set by Metu and Lawson here for Weatherspoon. He finds Farrell on the wing. Farrell, guarded by Wright, backs up here. Picked up on a switch briefly as Pinheiro showed. Went back to Metu. Inside, Weatherspoon finds Metu on the baseline. 4 seconds to shoot. Straightaway 3 for Farrell is off the front of the rim. Offensive rebound by Lawson, but he had it knocked away. And here comes Wright the other way for the Stockton Kings. Wright uses the Mika screen, picked up on the switch by Lawson. And then there's a mismatch. Mika guarded by Weatherspoon in the block. Leaves a wide open 3 for Pinheiro as help came, but Pinheiro couldn't make him pay. Metu clears the rebound. Johnson around a Metu screen, takes it to the heart of the paint, pushes off Dimps and gets it to go. As Dimps initiated a little bit of contact there, Johnson retaliated with a little bit of shoulder to shoulder, and that was able to create his space for the shot in the paint. A straightaway 3 from Guy is off the mark, and offensive rebound by Dimps, forcing the second reset. Dimps doesn't use that time. He just takes it to the paint and gets the runner to fall off the back of the rim. Cody Dimps in his 3rd season with Stockton. He actually signed with the Reno Bighorns when Stockton was in Reno, and Matt Farrell finds Dedrick Lawson inside. Lawson finishes with 2. Back and forth battle here, 13-12. Austin Spurs retake the lead. Double screen set here for Wright from Guy and Mika. Guy gives it right back here, and Wright couldn't find space against Weatherspoon. Mika trying to work down the right lane line against Lawson, and Lawson contests the shot pretty well. It's rebounded by Metu. Metu at the top of the key, takes it down the right lane line, switches to his right hand and lays it in. Nice play by Chimezi. Metu leads to a timeout on the court. 6:11 left to play in the first quarter. It's 15-12. The Austin Spurs with a 3-point lead. We'll keep it right here. And the Austin Spurs lead it by 3. We'll be back in a moment on Twitch. Versus coming dealing
The basketball world has been turned upside down.
Oh, do you believe that one?
Now, it's anyone's game. Some are looking to make a memorable entry.
Into the unknown. Into the unknown.
You can discover the adventure of Frozen 2 with the goodness of milk, apple slices, and an enchanting toy inside every McDonald's Happy Meal. Disney's Frozen 2 in theaters November 22nd, rated PG.
We welcome you back. For those of you watching on Twitch, I'm Carl Schoening, along with Lincoln Rose, Robert Calder, our director. It's 15-12. The Austin Spurs with a 3-point lead. We're in the early goings here of the first quarter. Actually, not halfway through the first quarter. Here's a look at some highlights through the first majority of 6 minutes. The other way is Ulis here to start off the possession for the Stockton Kings around the Mika screen, and Mika rolls to the basket for the easy dunk. Eric Mika, the center, 6'10", out of BYU, averaging 18 points and 18 rebounds. So he's going to get those shots close to the rim as Ulis knocks a pass out of bounds trying to play the passing lane. Back to Mika. He shoots 52% from the field and 90% from the free throw line, averaging half a block and half a steal a game. So he's definitely a player to watch out for here for Stockton. Weatherspoon trying to get it in. He has to hurry as the 5 count was close to being called as Lawson comes over and helps him out. 13 seconds here for Weatherspoon. Down the right lane line, Meek contests the shot, couldn't get the rebound, but Weatherspoon knocks it into the hands of Kyle Guy. Guy gets around Weatherspoon, behind the back to Mika, and Mika shifts over to his left hand to finish off the glass. Eric Mika with back-to-back buckets, and the Kings retake the lead 16-15. Weatherspoon wants Methu to post up 16 feet away, faces up against Pinero. And he goes up to the slam, has it fouled out of his arms, but a free throw for 2 points coming up for Chimezi Methu. He gets past Pinero there, and Mika comes over, and all he can do is make the foul. A free throw for 2 points here for Chimezi Methu as Jeff Ledbetter checks into the game for the Austin Spurs. Also out there, Tevin King. Ledbetter 6'3", 195 out of Idaho, and Tevin King 6'2", 205 out of South Dakota State. And Methu can't complete the free throw. Mika with one of those rebounds gets it out to Ulis. Ulis wants to back down against King. Spins towards the baseline and has his pass stolen away by Ledbetter. One-on-one between Ledbetter and Guy in a foot race to the rim. Ledbetter is able to find Tevin King underneath the basket. King's shot doesn't go, but Lawson tips it in. And the Austin Spurs back ahead, 17-16. Mika hands it off to Demps. Demps guarded by Johnson in the paint. Puts a shot off the back of the rim, no good, and the rebound comes down to Lawson. Tevin King into the front court. Methu posting up against Gabe Vincent, and the baseline fadeaway doesn't go, but Lawson's offensive rebound results in the ball being knocked away, and Ulis takes it the other way for the Kings. He's for Demps, who fires a three. Kelton Johnson with the rebound, slows it up for his teammates here with 4:16 left to play in the first. Johnson and the Spurs lead by 1. Ledbetter had an ocean on a rhythm three. Instead, he gets it into Methu for the close range shot. Methu has that one roll off the heel of the rim. Guy crosses over against King, and King tried to catch up using his hands, and he gets called for the hand check. That'll lead to a foul, his first personal and the second team foul. Massive substitutions for the Austin Spurs as Methu, Lawson, and Kelton Johnson check out. Dalton Hamas Kavion Pippen and Luka Šamanić in the game for the Austin Spurs. Šamanić on assignment from San Antonio. There's a three off the mark by Wright as Ledbetter was able to contest. And here comes Šamanić down the left sideline. Into Kavion Pippen, and Pippen lays it in. Defense fell asleep right there for Stockton, and the Austin Spurs taking advantage to take a 3-point lead. Ulis lobs it over the corner. Demps swings to Wright, and Wright's drive inside results in a foul, and I believe that goes against King. Yes, King will pick up the personal, so Tevin King with his second personal foul and the third team foul, but is this the acting is out of body contact. Sitting at the line here. Knocks down two-point free throw, and the Austin Spurs lead up to 1. Tevin King takes it inside, switches to his right hand, couldn't get the shot to fall, but it's knocked out by Ledbetter. Šamanić couldn't pick it up. Pinheiro comes the other way. Ulis finds in the corner Guy, a three-point shooter, and he knocks it down. Kyle Guy actually only shooting 30% from three, but he connects on that corner shot. The Kings take the lead, 21-19, a 2-point Stockton advantage with 3:05 left to play in the first quarter. We'll go ahead and take a break here on Twitch.
That last one was for you.
Pacers as the Greek Freak reaches the peak on Saturday's Top 10.
Welcome to the Cooking with the Spurs podcast.
Today's guest chef is Coyote, here to cook a meal.
Looks like Coyote sauteing some garlic, some onions, and some other stuff. That's a lot of smoke.
Does anyone else smell burnt fur?
Coyote should have just grabbed one of HEB's Meal Simple option.
Yeah, those tasty meals would be nice right about now.
When life gets crazy, keep it simple. HEB Meal Simple. Chef-inspired meals ready in minutes.
You all right there, buddy?
It's been a seesaw battle here at the HEB Center at Cedar Park for this matinee game between the Austin Spurs and the Stockton Kings. Here's some highlights from the very entertaining first quarter so far. Both teams have been trading the leads, and the most recent team to take the lead, the Stockton Kings, off of a three by Kyle Guy. And if you remember Kyle Guy, he is a two-way player out of the University of Virginia, played with DeAndre Hunter in this most recent run. He was the 55th pick by the New York Knicks and traded draft night to Sacramento. Sacramento signs him as a two-way player, and he goes ahead and helps out the Stockton Kings with a three-pointer here in the first quarter to give them the lead. Thomas, King, Šamanić, Ledbetter, it's Pippen the 5 on the court for the Austin Spurs. Šamanić here at the free throw line draws a crowd, and Ledbetter takes advantage of that by firing a three. Can't get it to go. Rebound by Isaiah Pinheiro. Gabriel Vincent, Kyle Guy into the game for the first time. Randy Owasso. And Pinheiro gets the shot underneath the basket, can't get it to fall. Cody Demps also out there for the Stockton Kings. King around a Pippen screen, takes it to the right side. Vincent guarding him tightly, but able to get away from the pressure and get the bucket and the foul. Tevin King going to the line to shoot one free throw for 1 point. Ties the game back up, and here's another look as Vincent guarded a little too tightly. King got the step, and then the foul called on Pinheiro. That's the second on Pinheiro, and the fourth team foul on the Kings. The free throw doesn't go, but Šamanić grabs the offensive rebound. His turnaround shot under the basket is good. And Luka Šamanić gets his first 2 points. Spurs retake the lead, 23-21. Here's Vincent on the break on the right side. Reverse layup is around the rim, no good, as Thomas defended that well, but then the follow tip in was good by Cody Demps. Šamanić, the crossover against Owasso. Hamas into the paint. Right-hand shot from the glass is good. Dalton Hamas joining the scoring party with his first two. 25-23, Spurs up by 2. Shamanic is going to fire a three. Off the back of the rim, but offensive rebound grab by Pippen. And he finds Hamas. Hamas will try a three from the left wing. That doesn't go either for the Spurs. Shamanic got the bucket, but it will be waved off because of an offensive foul by Tevin King as he knocks over Gabe Vincent on the pass. And it's a turnover on the Spurs. The third personal foul on Tevin King. So King in foul trouble here in the first quarter. The minute 30 left. He's going to stay out there and kind of plead his case as Vincent sacrifices his body for the possession. Vincent on the wing. Lee hands it off to Owasso, and Owasso has the shot blocked out of bounds by Kavion Pippen. Matt Farrell in the game for King, who leads with 3 fouls. Underneath the basket, the reverse layup around the rim and in for Owasso. And then he tapped the ball away from the Spurs. That'll be a delay of game warning. The next one will be a technical foul as Owasso just wanted to make sure the Spurs didn't score off of the shot there. It was getting blocked in the earlier time in that possession. And then a foul trying to be freed up on the side was Hamas, and Owasso was a little too physical. Owasso picks up his first personal foul. And that'll be the 15th on the Stockton Kings. So Hamas will go to the line to shoot a free throw for 2 points. Hamas can't get the free throw, but Pippen with the offensive rebound. His quick shot doesn't go. Tapped up by Shamanic. Pippen gets another offensive rebound. This time he gets the bucket and the foul. So Pippen will go to the line to shoot a free throw for 1 point, and the Spurs retake the lead. And this game has had a lot of ties and lead changes. Here's another look at it. Shamanic knocked it in the air for Pippen, and he goes a little flex as he finishes through the contact. Pippen knocks down the free throw, and it's a 28-25 lead, 3 points here with a minute left to play in the first for the Austin Spurs. Wright gets it right back for Nika. Vincent, catch and shoot three from the wing, yes. Gabe Vincent, a 46% shooter from behind the arc, knocks down that three. He's averaging 21 points a game. Shooting from distance is a good sign. And then Ledbetter answers back with a three of his own. And the Austin Spurs retake the lead after the tie at 28. Vincent. Targeted by Ledbetter, tried to use a Mika screen. The step back is a three-pointer, and the rebound on the floor. Vincent fighting for it on the baseline, is able to save it to Demps. Demps into the paint. Has a shot blocked by a combination of Pippen and Shamanic. Shamanic ahead of the pack will pull up for his teammates and give it to Ledbetter. 12 seconds to Spurs control for the final shot. And Farrell notices that. He'll wait at midcourt for a high pick and roll with Pippen. Doesn't use that screen. Takes to the right lane line. Shamanic passes up one more look for Ledbetter from the wing. Off the mark. The ball slam is good by Hamas. Count the bucket. We'll review it as that was a buzzer beater, but I think Hamas gets the highlight of the first quarter. As the first quarter comes to a close, the Austin Spurs lead the Stockton Kings 33-28. 12 minutes complete. We'll see if that basket counted when we come back here on Twitch.
Wow, it's just like I picture it.
Yippee-ki-yay, retired friend. We got coyote roping.
Come on, Coyote. Come on, you varmint.
We also have goat yoga. And that's the chips and guac pose.
Wow, looks delicious.
And finally, the Spurs chug wagon with all the best HEB Primo picks.
Wow.
Nice chops, Bruce.
Thanks, TP. I made you a natural ribeye, shrimp poppers, and all the fixings.
Nice.
May I present to you your HEV?
The all-Tony vehicle.
Man, Timmy, you made that just for me?
Just for you, buddy.
I love it here.
HEB Primo Picks. Legendary Texas taste for legendary gatherings.
Hey, where's David?
Practicing his axe throwing.
Back here at the HEB Center at Cedar Park, and they do count the basket at the end of the quarter by Dalton Thomas. We're going to go ahead and check in with the second member of our crew, Lincoln Rose, on the sidelines. Lincoln, what do you got for us?
Thank you. It is Heroes Among Us Day as first responders all around Central Texas are being recognized here at the HEB Center. Also, it is the first of 6 Salvation Army Sundays. Reminder, you can bring a new or gently used item on any of the Sunday home games for the Austin Spurs this year for a game ticket.
All right, thank you, Lincoln. As we are getting ready to start the second quarter, the Spurs leading 33-28. It's Dimps, Wright, Mika, Owasso, and Vincent 5 on the floor for the Stockton Kings. And a foul here as Pippen was a little too physical guarding Mika off the ball. He picks up the personal foul, and Pippen picks up the first team foul in the second quarter, 7 seconds in. Farrell, Ledbetter, Pippen, who just committed the foul, Hamas, and Shamanich, the 5 on the court for the Austin Spurs. Wright kicks it out to Vincent for a straightaway 3. Off the inside of the rim, goes high in the air, and a loose ball foul called on the floor here against Shamanich. So, yes, Shamanich gets, I don't see what he did there. It was Mika, who is averaging 18 rebounds a game, getting physical underneath the basket. That's not a problem. It's a problem when they call the foul on Shamanich there, who gets kind of pushed to the side. Mika drives inside. Kicks it out here to Wright, who's trying to get past Ledbetter. Ledbetter with good defense on the block, and then a foul called, I guess, against Ledbetter as Wright was trying to do some nifty pivot up and under. Ledbetter gets called for the slap on the wrist. We'll check it out again here. Yeah, I see what the official underneath the basket, Sheree Mitchell, saw, and that'll go ahead and be an and-one opportunity here for Isaiah Wright. Wright also played at the University of Utah to go along with his San Diego experience. He completes the and-one there. The opening bucket is and-one for the Stockton Kings in the second quarter. Farrell has the ball deflected out of bounds. He tried to save it on the sideline. It's a turnover for the Spurs. Vincent around double screens of Dimps and Mika. Ledbetter able to stay with him easily enough. Dimps gives it right back here to Vincent, and Vincent passes to Mika, cutting to the basket, and Mika couldn't get the shot to go. Looking for a foul, won't get one. Farrell sizing up against Vincent around a pivot screen into the paint, picked up and switched by Mika. Here's Shamanich backing down against Dimps. He switches to his right hand, hook shot, a little off the target, rebounded by Mika. Owasso into the front court. Vincent gets Hamas off of his feet, and then the drive inside is able to be completed by Gabe Vincent, who's also shooting 45% from the field overall to go along with his 46% clip from behind the arc. Hamas finds Farrell in the corner for 3. Yes. Matt Farrell gives the Spurs the lead back as we were tied at 33. That's been the trend of the game so far, a back-and-forth contest, and the Spurs retake the three-point advantage. Owasso. Here's Mika back to the basket, guard by Pippen. Dimps open for 3 as Shamanich closes out. That's off the back of the rim. Rebound by Ledbetter. Quick out with Shamanich, who fights through 2 Stockton Kings. He's fouled to go to the line to shoot free throw for 2. We have a mass substitution coming in for the Austin Spurs. Johnson, Weatherspoon, Lawson. Shamanich hits the free throw and gives the Austin Spurs 2 points. 5-point advantage 2 minutes into the second quarter. Isaiah Wright hands it off here to Pinheiro, who takes it aggressively down the right lane line, stops and turns around at the block for the shot. Can't get it to go. Lawson to midcourt. Shamanich into the paint. Will get called for a offensive foul. And they say that he used the forearm there on the drive to the basket. And Shamanich picks up his second personal foul. Here's another look at it. As, yeah, I see why Pinheiro does a good job shuffling his feet, and then the space created there on the little chicken wing from Shamanich. Pinheiro underneath the basket. He tried to get it underneath to Mika, but it bounces out to right. Here's Guy taking it inside. He had it knocked away from him, but a foul. And he'll go to the line to shoot 2 as it was Weatherspoon, shoot a free throw for 2 as Weatherspoon commits the personal foul on the drive. Coach Ahern asking for a travel there, and he gets a response from Julian McFadden that he bobbled the ball, so Guy gets away with it and he gets 2 points on the free throw. Lawson at the elbow kicks it back out to Farrell, and then here's Weatherspoon open for 3 left of the key over the zone. He knocks down the 3. Stockton's thrown a couple 2-3 zones out there, and Weatherspoon makes them pay on the shift on the passes. The shot there by Wright doesn't go. Farrell wants to break in the front court. He has Metu running with him. The alley-oop slam to Chmezi Metu. Spurs opening up their largest lead of the game, 43-35. 8-point advantage for the team in black. Mika at the top of the key, hands it off to Wright. Wright with the step back, closed out by Lawson, forcing the pass inside to Mika, and his right hand hook over Weatherspoon is good. Farrell protects his dribble into the front court around the Metu screen. Keldon Johnson. Weatherspoon bullies his way to the rim, but Mika meets him there. That's a big man to bully. 5 seconds to shoot for Johnson here. Pinheiro was real tight on that coverage right there. There was a lot of torso contact between Pinheiro and Keldon Johnson, but they called the travel on Johnson. Here's another look at that alley-oop connection from Farrell to Chmezi Metu. Metu skies to the rim for 2 points. Pinheiro stops the block. His jump shot is off the mark. And Keldon Johnson has the ball knocked away from him. It goes to the sideline, and they say last touch by Johnson, so didn't quite have the angle to tell you whether or not it's right. Blake Ahern gives the as Pinheiro gives it up to Wright. Pinheiro isolated on the right side, shoots over Metu. Can't get it to go. He was short on the jumper. Farrell guards by Pinheiro right here. Pops it over to Johnson. Johnson takes into the paint, and he shifts to his right hand to get it off the glass and in. Keldon Johnson out there for the Spurs following his assignment to San Antonio with 6 points already, as we have a timeout on the floor from the Stockton Kings. 7:23 left to play in the second quarter. The Austin Spurs lead at 45-37. We'll be back in a moment on Twitch.
I came here to work with Tony was one of my main objectives. So it was a turning point for me in my coaching life. But for Tony, it was that next step that he needed. He wanted to be the pretty good, the great, the all-star, the champion.
The key word obviously is discipline. Discipline, never be satisfied. I was a big student of the game. I watched a lot of film.
The time that he and Chip put in together had a big impact on the longevity of his career and the effectiveness of his career. And Chip and Tony worked really well together, spent a great deal of time, and deserves a lot of credit for Tony's growth. But Tony participated in his own success as well.
He didn't overwork. He worked smartly, had a good plan, willing to try some things that were different in his shooting. It's one of the hardest things to do. It's self-improvement. And he looked in the mirror and said, I'm going to get better at this. And he succeeded in grand fashion.
The Austin Spurs have matched their largest lead of 8 here, 45-37, 7:23 left to play in the second quarter. Out of the timeout, the Spurs will have Johnson, Weatherspoon, Metu, and Lawson with King on the court. Here's another look at some of those highlights as knifing through the zone was Keldon Johnson for the point that caused the timeout by Stockton. Stockton has Vincent, Guy, Dimps, Mika, and into the game for the first time, Marcus Graves out of Sacramento State. Shooting 28% from behind the arc, trying to there. King, a 4-year player at South Dakota State in his first professional career. (45-39). Lawson lobs it to the rim for Metu to slam down. Metu finishing above the rim. Dimps fakes the handoff, finds Mika on the left elbow. Graves straight away. Off the mark, the follow slam, no good by Mika, and then the high rebound grabbed by Weatherspoon. And Weatherspoon way overthrows Lawson. It's a turnover on the Austin Spurs. Graves in the front court here for the Kings. Dimps goes past Metu into the paint. And the shot blocked from behind on Mika. Here's Weatherspoon the other way. And Mika travels with the ball as he tried to take it inside. Tried the Euro step, kind of hopped on that left foot. And that'll the turnover. Back-to-back turnovers on Quindary Weatherspoon. Graves guarded by Weatherspoon, hands it off here to Vincent. Vincent guarded by Johnson, steps back. Lawson closes out on him. Mika gets a pass underneath, and Mika gets fouled by Johnson. Smart foul by Keldon to send Mika to the line instead of getting the lane to the rim, and makes him earn it from the charity stripe where he shoots 90%. Mika, the pretty solid player out of Brigham Young University. As we mentioned earlier, 18 points, 18 rebounds, shoots 52% from the field and 90% from the free throw line coming into tonight. He gets 2 points on that free throw. And the Spurs lead is 6. Weatherspoon lobs up for Chimezi. Metu slams it down. Metu's had a lot of lobs to the rim, and he's going to have quite the highlight package after this one. Mika. Guarded by Lawson, works the right-hand dribble to the block where he posts up, hop steps in the lane, left-hand hook is no good. Dimps gets the follow, that's left short, and the rebound to Metu. Farrell shifts gears into the paint. Gets a little separation from Graves, and Graves was out of bounds as he got the ball that was blocked to him by Dimps. Pinero tags out Cody Demps. Pinero out there with Graves, Guy, Mika, and Vincent. Weatherspoon open for three. It's off the mark as it glances on the rim and picked up on a bounce by Graves. Here's Vincent having it knocked from behind from Weatherspoon, and Weatherspoon hit it out of bounds. Possession remains here with Stockton. Jeff Ledbetter will check in with Dalton Hamas. Four seconds came off the clock, and here is crew chief Randy Richardson trying to get it settled at midcourt with the scorers table. So 3 players come off the court in Weatherspoon, Metu, and Johnson, and the other way for the Spurs, Shamanich, Hamas, and Ledbetter, the 3 to replace them. 18 seconds on the shot clock as it somehow fell down to 9 seconds and then got to 15. So the officials agree on 18 seconds with 5:14 left to play in the second quarter. Guy will do the honors inbounding. On the baseline, Kyle Guy points out a foul as Vincent's being held up by Dalton Hamas, and that'll be a free throw for 1 point as Hamas picks up the personal. Hamas picks up his first personal foul. The Austin Spurs now with 5 team fouls with 5:18 left to play in the second quarter. The free throw good there for Vincent. 49-42, Spurs still with the lead. Marcus Graves will inbound. Mika gives it right back to Graves into the paint Pinero, and Pinero has a shot contested by Shamanich around the rim, no good. Offensive rebound by Mika. It's worked a Guy for a left wing 3, no good. Offensive rebound by Pinero. His shot blocked partially by Hamas, but Mika comes up with a loose ball, 10 seconds to shoot. Mika underneath the basket, can't get his runner to fall, and the rebound fought for between Lawson and Ledbetter. Ledbetter scoops it up. Around Lawson's screen, Ledbetter stopped at the top of the key. Farrell uses the screen by Lawson, takes into the paint. Right hand, high arcing shot off of the backboard, no good. Farrell a little slow to get back as he got tangled up with one of our cameramen. Guy, guarded by Shamanich to the corner, doesn't contest the shot, but Guy leaves it short, and Ledbetter pushes the break the other way. Farrell back into the action, lobs it over to Hamas, and Hamas tries a three-pointer at the break. It's glancing off the rim and rebounded by Graves. Graves pushes the tempo for Guy into the corner. Vincent tries a 3, and a 46% three-point shooter doesn't get it to go, but a loose ball foul here. Matt Farrell gets called for his 3rd personal foul. And going to the free throw line, Isaiah Pinero. Pinero, a 85% free throw shooter, also averages 2 steals and 2 turnovers a game. So when he coughs it up, he eventually gets it back. Weatherspoon in the game for Farrell, who came down awkwardly on the cameras. Hopefully he's okay. Kind of flexing his wrist. The free throw left short by Pinero and rebounded by Lawson. Weatherspoon around the Lawson screen, guarded hip to hip by Guy. Lawson stepped into the left elbow, passed it up to Hamas. Hamas stops at the same left elbow and gets it back out to Weatherspoon around the Shamanich screen, and a little show that was too hard from Pinero gets whistled for the personal foul. Isaiah Pinero picks up his 3rd personal foul, the Stockton Kings 2nd team foul. 3:56 left to play in the second quarter, and the Stockton Kings definitely doing a good job defending without fouling here as we close out the first half. Ledbetter lets it fly from the wing. Yes. Ledbetter knocks down the 3, and the Austin Spurs take a 10-point advantage onto the defensive side of the ball. Marcus Graves gives it up to Pinero. Pinero surveying the court, looking for somebody to develop some spacing for him to get a clean pass off. He gives it up here to Graves. underneath Pinero, and Pinero is just hammered by Dalton Thomas. Thomas there picks up his second personal foul, and he comes up a little slowly. Another look at it. Just a little too much anticipation there by Thomas. Pinero was in the act of shooting anyway, so he'll go to the line, but the Spurs currently in the penalty. Pinero's free throw for 2 points, around the rim no good, and Shamanich corrals the rebound. Weatherspoon calls out a play from the backcourt. Curling around the screen is Ledbetter. He takes it to the block and gets cut off. Shamanich whips it inside to Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon uses the power dribble to lay it in. Quindary Weatherspoon with 5 points on the afternoon. Guy guarded by Ledbetter to the free throw line. His 15-foot floater is off the mark and rebounded by Lawson. Weatherspoon shovels it ahead to Ledbetter. Ledbetter tries to give it behind the back to Weatherspoon. It's a turnover. And here is Pinero the other way. Leaves his left-hand layup short. Weatherspoon on the wing. Finds Lawson cutting the basket. And Lawson had to adjust to an interesting pass that was a little behind him to squeeze it into the window. But he gets fouled, and the foul goes on Cody Dimps. Here's another look at that as Weatherspoon wanted Dimps to have no part of that play, and Dimps gets involved with a foul, so he was okay with that as Lawson had to deal with the pass behind him. And Lawson will be shooting free throws when we get back. I believe they might not call that in the act of shooting. We'll find out when we get back. 54-42, the Spurs with a 12-point advantage. 2:42 left to play in the second quarter. We'll be back in a moment on Twitch.
This league was built to break. Built to break new ground, break molds, and shatter expectations. Built to break the idea of what it means to grow and to change. Change minds. Change the game. This league was built to break.
And you're missing it? That last one was for you.
2:42 left to play in the second quarter, and the Austin Spurs sitting pretty at the moment heading into the closing moments of the first half as we get some Metu highlights. Chimezi's been finishing above the rim, and blocked there by Lawson. Some good highlights here as the Euro step by Weatherspoon. That was actually called by a travel, but highlight package here where you get to see a double dose of Metu slams, and it's been a fun first half so far. The Austin Spurs with a 12-point advantage, and it will be Lawson shooting free throws as Weatherspoon threaded the needle on a pass, and Lawson was able to do a good job adjusting, catching it behind him, and then he was fouled by Cody Dimps, and Lawson will be at the line to shoot a free throw for 2 points. Lawson hits it, and the Spurs have a 13-point advantage. At the rim, Graves was too strong in his layup. Mika gets fouled from behind by Shamanich, and he'll go to the line to shoot a free throw for 2. Throw by Mika is left short, and Shamanich gets the rebound. Sorry, I had to do a little, didn't mean for that to go over the air. I just thought that would let them know that they left a point short for the Spurs, and Shamanich gets the offensive rebound, and the follow no good, but a foul, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2. Another look at that Shamanich offensive rebound, and that's something that Luka has done well to this point on the young Austin Spurs season, and Šamanić averaging 8 rebounds along with his 14 points and 2 assists for the rookie out of Croatia. 19th pick overall by the San Antonio Spurs in the 2019 draft. Weatherspoon doesn't get his floater to fall. The rebound goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Kings. Mika unsure about that call, but he was the last one to touch it according to our umpire, Julian McFadden, and that goes out of bounds. Austin Spurs will have possession with 14 seconds to shoot. And then a foul on the inbound as Vincent, who was the victim of one of those fouls earlier when Hamas was guarding him, is the one who's the guilty party this time, and Hamas will go to the line to shoot a free throw for 1 point. You know, I was looking at these box scores, and it's hard to know the free throws and their values because it's just attempts and makes still. So I would like to maybe look into a baseball style thing instead of runners left on, points left at the line. It would be an interesting look at the stats here as we figure that new rule out. As Chmezi Metu gets the inbounds from Ledbetter and finishes. And Chmezi Metu having quite a solid afternoon, up to 13 points. Graves guarded by Weatherspoon, loses the handle underneath the basket, kicks it out to Guy. Guy has to kind of twist on his three-point attempt. An offensive rebound comes down to Demps. Graves straight away. Around the rim doesn't go, and then a loose ball foul. I believe this goes against Mika, who's been physical on the boards, and that will be the foul that puts the Kings into the penalty. They already committed their foul to give in the last 2 minutes, and now the third foul by Mika will go ahead and put Lawson at the line for the free throw. Minute 31 left to play here in this second quarter, 59-42, and Lawson knocks down the two-point free throw. Spurs up 61-42, their largest lead of the night, 19. Dimps fakes the lob and will work against Lawson, who was switched on to him. Dimps into the paint, left-hand shot too strong and recovered on the rebound by Metu. Ledbetter cross-court pass to Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon had a notion on three, and then he's fouled on the drive by Dimps, and a free throw for 2 points coming up for Quindary Weatherspoon. Dimps picks up his third personal foul, and again, they're over the limit. Here's another look at it as Dimps tried to matador that one, but couldn't get his arm out of the way. Gets called for the foul. Weatherspoon averaging 12 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Gets the free throw to go. And the Spurs lead by 21. Minute 5 left to play in the second quarter. Graves gives it up to Pinheiro. Here's Guy working around the top of the key. Pinheiro underneath. Nice cut to the basket. The Spurs lost him on the handoff. Pinheiro gets the easy layup. Easiest to have all night. And then a whistle stops the play here to get the clock correct. Let's see what it is. Ledbetter will inbound. 54 seconds left. And Lawson is pushed into the backcourt by Dimps, but the person who gets whistled for the infraction is Lawson, as it's an over and back officially. Happened right in front of me, and Dimps initiates a lot of the contact here as Lawson's trying to find his balance. Just a frame before you guys saw it. And Guy tried to get to the top of the key. Ledbetter fighting through screens, picks up the personal foul, and Kyle Guy will go to the line to shoot free throws. Ledbetter's second personal foul. The Spurs were already over the limit, but here we are in the closing moments of the second quarter, and Pinheiro was the party that was fouled. Blake Ahern didn't like that foul called, but Pinheiro makes the free throw for 2 points either way. And it's 63-46, 43 seconds left to play in the second quarter. Spurs can go 2 for 1 here if they elect to manage the clock in that way. Weatherspoon on the wing, drives to the baseline. Ledbetter in the corner, surveying this defense. Drives baseline, And his shot at the end of the shot clock doesn't go, but Metu taps it in. They didn't get 2 for 1, but they didn't get 2 points as Metu has 15 points here on his assignment from San Antonio in the first half. Guy will hold up for the last shot, 10 seconds here. Shot clock turned off. Guy around a Pinheiro screen, picked up on a switch by Lawson. Pinheiro sets another screen, and Hamas tries to trap him. Guy has it knocked away from him, picked up by Lawson. Lawson tries a half-court heave at the buzzer, off the back of the rim, and that's how this first half comes to a close. So, after 2 quarters complete, the Austin Spurs lead the Stockton Kings 65-46, and we're going to go ahead and send it over to Lincoln Rose. He's with Ty Ellis.
Sometimes the education process doesn't result in just a made shot. You're most vocal at times, even on a missed shot. You see your players in the right position. What did you see your team do right in that first half?
Well, we had spurts where we actually moved the ball on the offensive end and played good defense. They made some tough shots. And so that's what it's about. As long as we continue to take progressive steps forward, I'm fine with it.
And secondly, coming into the second half, what's the most realistic adjustment your guys can make to make a difference?
The thing is, you don't win or lose a game in the first half. The game is far from over, but it's on us.
Todd, thank you.
You're welcome.
Carl?
All right, thank you, Lincoln, as that was the halftime thoughts of Ty Ellis. We're going to go ahead and take a break here at halftime. The Austin Spurs lead the Stockton Kings 65-46, a 19-point advantage for the home team trying to pick up their first win at the HEB Center at Cedar Park. We'll be back with
This game has the power to pull you in. All it takes is one incredible moment. It can happen anytime, in any city, on any night. And once you've witnessed what's possible, you can't wait to see what's next. Watch the NBA live.
Wow, HEB seafood is really good. I love the fresh salmon.
Yeah, I could eat these bacon-wrapped shrimp poppers and scallops all day.
Sushi is my favorite.
Hold up, I just thought of an idea for a new HEB seafood commercial. Ahoy, mateys! Guess me favorite letter. R! No, a power's first love is the sea.
Are you out of your mind?
Probably.
HEB seafood and sushi. Guaranteed freshness. That's our hook.
This league was built to break. Built to break new ground. Break molds. And shatter expectations. Built to break the idea of what it means to grow. And to change. Change minds. Change the game. This league was built to break.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
If I have a big game, I'm gonna be excited as a basketball player. I'm gonna appreciate it for what it is, but I also know that there's more people who need help and need attention. I think those are the things that really count. I wanna see real stuff happening. I'm from Oakland, California, and it's just a place that I take a lot of pride in being from, just because of a lot of my characteristics I learned there. Everybody is loving on everybody, and everybody's sharing everything. It means so much to me because I realize how powerful like that type of foundation is, and I bring it in my life every day now. Be a good person, do the right thing, treat people the right way, because it don't cost you nothing. What we do with the Respect campaign is we challenge kids to show up, work hard, and be kind. I had a personal experience where I went to private school for a year, and there was a kid that was getting like picked on a little bit, and I became good friends with him. I learned what they go through because he would say it to me.
The more I can impact and, you know, share with you guys my story and how it can help you guys, I'm gonna share it.
There's hundreds of kids here that's a part of the Respect campaign. That's 100 futures that we can put our hands on and have an impact on. And that's why I do it. We all come from different places and have different experiences. But one thing I know we can offer each other is respect.
A strong first half of the game by the home team. The Austin Spurs lead the Stockton Kings 65-46. It's halftime. I'm Carl Schoening. We have some halftime statistics for you here as the Spurs were led in scoring by Chimezi Metu. Metu finished the half with 15 points and really helped lead the Austin Spurs to a pretty solid first half by catching a lot of lobs to the rims. He's athletic. Those are things that he can do. Some other scores for the Spurs. Quindary Weatherspoon with 7 points. Dedrick Lawson with 7 points. 6 points from Jeff Ledbetter. 5 points from Dalton Hamas. And then off of the bench, the Spurs had Pippen with 5 points. 3 points from Matt Farrell. 2 points from Keldon Johnson. Actually, 6 points from Keldon Johnson. That's slightly off here. And Lucas Shamanich also with 6 points. Here's a look at some first half highlights as Dalton Hamas was able to get that buzzer beater follow slam at the end of the first quarter. And Vincent, a 21 point per game score, and gets that Euro step to fall. But been a fun, action-paced first half here, and that means we're in for a strong second half here as the Austin Spurs take on the Stockton Kings. This is the second matchup against Pacific Division teams. Last week, on Friday night, the Austin Spurs took on the Santa Cruz Warriors, the team that won the Pacific Division. Here they are taking on the Stockton Kings, who were second in the division last year with a record of 30-20 and lost in the first round of the playoffs to Memphis. And here the Austin Spurs trying to bounce back from a season in which they did not qualify for the playoffs. They start off by outscoring the Stockton Kings by 19 points in the first half as the Spurs are looking for their first win here at the HEB Center at Cedar Park. They have fallen in their previous 3 contests here. They did pick up their sole win on the road against Rio Grande Valley, and here they are at the end of a 3-game homestand, trying to close out with a positive note before they head on the road for a week. That's right, they won't be back at the HEB Center until Sunday the 24th, and that's a back-to-back home series against Lakeland and the Salt Lake City Stars. Well, we are about 8 minutes away from the start of the second half here on Twitch. It's been an athletic up-and-down matchup here between the Kings and the Spurs. We'll be back with more when we come back on Twitch. We'll have an interview with Blake Ahern from Lincoln Rose.
The basketball world has been turned upside down.
Oh, do you believe that one?
Now, it's anyone's game. Some are looking to make a memorable entrance.
Irving puts it up.
Others want to prove they never left.
Siakam, it's good.
And everyone has a chance to reach new heights. The time has finally come to see who will rise.
Finishes ferociously.
Watch the NBA Live.
I came here to work with Tony was one of my main objectives. So it was a turning point for me in my coaching life. But for Tony, it was that next step that he needed. He wanted to be the pretty good, the great, the all-star, the champion.
The key word obviously is discipline. Discipline, never be satisfied. I was a big student of the game. I watched a lot of film.
The time that he and Chip put in together had a big impact on the longevity of his career and the effectiveness of his career. And Chip and Tony worked really well together, spent a great deal of time, and deserves a lot of credit for Tony's growth but Tony participated in his own success as well. He didn't overwork. He worked smartly, had a good plan, willing to try some things that were different in his shooting. It's one of the hardest things to do. It's self-improvement. And he looked in the mirror and said, I'm going to get better at this. And he succeeded in grand fashion.
Ooh, you taking orders?
Nope. It's a petition to get HEB natural beef named as the world's 8th natural wonder.
Wow, it's that good?
Only one way to find out.
Is this volcano still active?
Nah, it's retired, but I hear it left it all on the field.
HEB Natural Beef. No antibiotics, added hormones, or artificial ingredients ever.
All on the field. I just got that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Welcome to the Cooking with the Spurs podcast.
Today's guest chef is Coyote, here to cook a meal.
Looks like Coyote sauteing some garlic, some onions, and some other stuff.
That's a lot of smoke.
Does anyone else smell burnt fur?
Coyote should have just grabbed one of HEB's Meal Simple option.
Yeah, those tasty meals would be nice right about now.
When life gets crazy, keep it simple. HEB Meal Simple. Chef-inspired meals ready in minutes.
You all right there, buddy?
Stupid.
This copyrighted telecast of the NBA G League may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise used in any form without the express written consent of the NBA G League.
You can discover the adventure of Frozen 2 with the goodness of milk, apple slices, and an enchanting toy inside every McDonald's Happy Meal. Disney's Frozen 2 in theaters November 22nd, rated PG.
Just about set to go for the start of the third quarter with Blake Ahern, head coach of the Austin Spurs in his third year. Last year, limited visits from Chemezi because of injuries with San Antonio. This year, a little bit more frequently already his second assignment. You've already taught him everything he knows about dunking. Where can he continue to grow?
Heck, we need him more. I got to get on Pop about sending him here more. He's great. He came in, he set the tone defensively for us, played with energy. He makes us look smart on the sidelines, but heck of a job by him setting the tone.
You don't need to be a third-year coach in the G League to know this is a league of two halves. How do you keep your foot on the pedal in the second half?
Same way we did in the first half. Simple basketball. We defended, we ran, we shared the ball. When we do that, we got enough guys that can make plays. Good things will happen.
Blake, thank you.
Thanks.
Carl?
All right, thank you, Lincoln. We are about 2.5 minutes away from the start of the third quarter. The Austin Spurs lead the Stockton Kings 65-46. We will return with the start of the second half here on Twitch in a moment.
This game has the power to pull you in. And all it takes is one incredible moment. It can happen anytime, in any city, on any night. And once you've witnessed what's possible, you can't wait to see what's next. Watch the NBA live.
Welcome to the Cooking with the Spurs podcast.
Today's guest chef is Coyote, here to cook a meal.
Looks like Coyote sauteing some garlic, some onions, and some other stuff.
That's a lot of smoke.
Does anyone else smell burnt fur?
Coyote should have just grabbed one of HEB's Meal Simple option.
Yeah, those tasty meals would be nice right about now.
When life gets crazy, keep it simple. HEB Meal Simple. Chef-inspired meals ready in minutes.
You all right there, buddy?
The basketball world has been turned upside down.
Oh, do you believe that one?
Now, it's anyone's game. Some are looking to make a memorable entrance.
Irving puts it up.
Others want to prove they never left.
Stockton. It's good.
And everyone has a chance to reach new heights. The time has finally come to see who will rise.
Finishes ferociously.
Watch the NBA Live.
It's the start of the second half here at the HEB Center at Cedar Park. I'm Carl Schoening. Our sideline reporter is Lincoln Rose. Our director is Robert Calder. We're happy you guys tuned in for this matchup between the Austin Spurs and the Stockton Kings. As we get things going again, the Austin Spurs hold a 19-point advantage as we start the second half. But as Lincoln pointed out in his interview with Blake Ahern, this is a tale of two halves potential league, as no lead is safe in the G League. We've seen 19-point leads evaporate all the time in this up-and-down basketball league. The Stockton Kings will start off with possession of the third quarter. Out there is Isaiah Pinheiro, as well as Mika Demps, Kyle Guy, and operating the point, Isaiah Wright. He'll get the ball here in a moment from Pinheiro and initiate the Stockton offense to start the third quarter. Guy around Amika's screen. Pinheiro down the right lane line. Metu does a good job keeping his hands up, and then he has the hands go down a little bit right there, and he commits the foul against Pinheiro. Although, you know, in cases like that, and we might see on the replay here, Pinheiro kind of lowered into the torso, and that's how those hands straight up go down sometimes. And yeah, you know, that's hard for the officials to understand because it's happening in Metu's body. But whenever sometimes your hands are straight up and then the defender goes into your core, your hands just naturally go down, and the ball doesn't lie right there as Pinheiro misses the free throw, and the Austin Spurs will have their first offensive possession of the second half. Metu inside the arc. Bounce pass to Johnson, and Johnson, who gets the start in the second half, opens up with a bucket. Keldon Johnson with 8 points on the ball game, his first two of the second half. Guy around a Pinheiro screen. Matt Farrow doing a good job staying with him hip to hip, and the shot no good, and then the rebound grabbed by Lawson. Quindary Weatherspoon into the front court. Chimezie Metu tries a three. Glances off the side of the rim, and it's rebounded by Mika. Guy goes around Mika, who casually comes into the front court. Right here, steps back for a three-pointer right of the key and rattles it home. Isaiah Wright opening up the scoring for the Kings with a three-pointer, and that cuts the Spurs' lead to 18. Johnson on the right sideline, watching the play develop near the free throw line. Passes up, Metu curling around the top of the key and gives it to Farrell. Farrell with 5 seconds to shoot. Weatherspoon, one dribble, tries a long two off the back of the rim, and then a loose ball foul will be called on Chimezie Metu, as it looks like he hit Pinheiro in the back as Pinheiro was going for the rebound. Metu disagrees, and then I think a delay of game warning was called on Chimezie Metu. So Metu, I guess, who was talking to the officials, and that held up the game a little bit, led to a warning for Chimezie Metu. Both teams have delay of game warnings, so the next one for either team will be a technical foul. Mika bounce pass here to Guy, and Guy is able to get past the defensive Lawson for the layup. Weatherspoon cut off by a guy at the wing here. Metu between the jump circles, thought about cutting back and sending it back door to Farrell. Instead, Weatherspoon will create. Johnson into the paint. Johnson with the left-hand runner, couldn't get it to go, and then the offensive rebound and follow is good by Lawson. Dedrick Lawson with an active night for the Spurs. He has 12. Right around screens from Guy and Mika. Mika with the rescreen has his pass deflected by Lawson, recovered by Farrell. Turnover against Wright. Here's Lawson finding Johnson underneath the basket for a layup. Nice transition bucket by the Spurs, and they lead it by 20 again. It's 71-51. 9:20 left to play in the third. Guy straight away. Had a lot of upper body movement on that straightaway jump shot, and it's off the mark. You know, sometimes you have to eliminate that unnecessary movement when you're going to the NBA three-point line. That's the second time he didn't ever really square up his shoulders, and he sort of rotated that right shoulder into the three-point shot, and he hasn't made one of those yet. He's only made the set shot three-pointers. Chimezi Metu draws a foul against Pinheiro, and Metu will go to the line to shoot a free throw. Pinheiro's fourth personal foul, the first team foul on the Stockton Kings. Chimezi Metu will go to the free throw line for a 2-point free throw shot. Metu can't get the bucket to go, and Dimps comes down with the rebound in the middle of the paint. Mika. Dribble handoff to Guy, and Guy has the speed set this time, knocks down the three. Kyle Guy, the two-way player, with 15 points for the Kings. Lawson saves it from going out of bounds. Weatherspoon tips it in the air, and Guy tips it to Mika. Here comes Guy in the front court, guarded by Farrell. Isaiah Wright, wide right, and that goes out of bounds. Team rebound for the Austin Spurs as Farrell does a good job boxing out Mika. Gabriel Vincent will come in for Stockton as Pinheiro will get some words of coaching from Ty Ellis before he heads to the bench. Matt Farrell sees Weatherspoon popping out to the top of the key. Curling around the screen and then getting fouled on that curl is Keldon Johnson. The foul goes against Vincent, who just checked in. Vincent picks up his fourth personal foul. That's the second team foul on Stockton. And a side out here for Weatherspoon. Johnson looking at a Metu post up. Metu gives him the nod. Give me the ball against Dempsey here. Metu takes it right to the rim, and he can't get it to go, but a Lawson offensive rebound leads to a Farrell three-pointer. Another offensive rebound by Lawson. He draws a double team, and with 10 seconds to shoot, Weatherspoon will size up against Guy. His three on the way, and nothing but net. Third time's the charm for the Austin Spurs, and they get 3 points out of it. 74-54, Spurs up by 20. Guy around the Mika screen, picked up a switch by Lawson. Underneath Mika, and Mika lays it in as Lawson was supposed to recover back to Mika to prevent that switch, and Mika instead gets one of the easier buckets he'll get this evening. Mika with 12 points for the big man wearing 12 for Stockton. Weatherspoon got Guy off his feet. Instead, Johnson will try a three, and Keldon Johnson doesn't get the ball, but Chimezi Metu grabs the rebound, tries to power his way to the rim, loses the ball out of bounds, and the Austin Spurs retain possession. Baseline inbounds with 11 seconds to shoot. Pippen will check in here for Austin, and Lawson will head to the bench. Farrell inbound on the baseline. Chimezi Metu on the right elbow, makes a move against Dimps, knocks Dimps over, and then an offensive foul as Metu is whistled for the personal. And Chimezi Metu picks up his third personal foul, turnover on Austin. Another look at that here as Dimps. Now that was the play before where it was knocked out, but Dimps getting a hard assignment going up against Chimezi Metu. Cody Dimps, listed at 6'4", 195, has been guarding Chimezi Metu a lot, and Metu in turn sometimes finds himself on dimps. Guy guarding Weatherspoon. Step back long 2 over Weatherspoon's outreached hand is no good, and the rebound grab by Keldon Johnson. Pippen back to the basket, backing down against Mika. Johnson gives it up for Farrell, who's open for 3. Offensive rebound by Metu, and he finishes with the tomahawk slam. Chimezie Metu with 17 points on the game and an emphatic slam. He's had a lot of those this afternoon. Guy around Amika's screen finds in the corner right. Wright didn't have his feet set, and he sends it out to Vincent, who tried a 3, and Metu skies for the rebound. Farrell on the left sideline. Pippen will set a screen for him. And the foul called as Pippen was getting held up by Isaiah Wright, I believe. Here's another look at the Chimezie Metu slam as we head into the break. The Austin Spurs lead at 76-56, a 20-point advantage for the home team. We'll be back with more exciting NBA G League basketball on Twitch.
Wow, it's just like a picture.
Yippee-ki-yay, retired friend. We got coyote roping.
Come on, Coyote. Come on, you varmint.
We also have goat yoga. And that's the chips and guac pose.
Wow, looks delicious.
And finally, the Spurs chug wagon with all the best HEB Primo picks.
Wow.
Nice chops, Bruce.
Thanks, TP. I made you a natural ribeye, shrimp poppers, and all the fixings.
Nice.
May I present to you your ATV?
The old Tony vehicle.
Man, Timmy, you made that just for me?
Just for you, buddy.
I love it here.
HEB Primo Picks. Legendary Texas taste for legendary gatherings.
Hey, where's David?
Practicing his axe throwing.
Back here at the HEB Center at Cedar Park, 76-56 Spurs advantage. We have a review going on, not quite sure what it is for, so while that's being tended to by crew chief Randy Richardson, go ahead and give you some notes on the Stockton Kings as you go ahead and see what they're looking at. I think they're looking at whether or not that was a 3-pointer or a 2 by Weatherspoon on that left wing 3 perhaps, or is it here on this play? Well, this was that Mika score as Weatherspoon tried to get back on the Guy, and Lawson switched on to Guy, leaving Mika under the basket. That was the foul earlier on Johnson, or that was committed, and Johnson was the victim of the foul. So this was the 3 here in a moment on the next offensive rebound by Weatherspoon. The officials taking a look at it. The Stockton Kings have already sent out their 5. Vincent, Owasso, Wright, Mika, and Guy. Spurs kind of still huddled up, but their 5 are selected as well. Ledbetter, King, Shamanich, Johnson, and Pippen. So it was the question of the shot from Weatherspoon on whether or not that was a 2 or a 3. Score did not change, so the Austin Spurs retained their 20-point lead And we can resume play here at the HEB Center at Cedar Park. Keldon Johnson will inbound for the Spurs. Isaiah Wright was called for the foul. That was his first personal foul. The Kings with 3 team fouls. And the Spurs will get things rolling again. Ledbetter jacks up a 3 at the end of the shot clock. It's off the mark and rebounded by Owasso. Vincent, guarded by Ledbetter, lobs up for Mika, and Mika can't finish at the rim, but he does get the ball, and then it was blocked by Pippen. Mika retains it. A shot by Vincent off the back of the rim, and getting the rebound in the air is Shamanich. Johnson gets a screen from Pippen. In and out move to the block, and Johnson passes out to Shamanich at the top of the key. Luka in the lane, lost the ball, but got it back, and then a jump ball is called from our baseline official, Julian McFadden, and he didn't really have an angle for that, honestly. I didn't think there was really a tie-up, but either way, we will have a jump ball here. 10 seconds on the clock. Shamanich, who is listed at 6'10", jumping against Owasso, who is 6'3" on the roster, and the ball batted around, picked up by Ledbetter with 8 seconds to shoot. Johnson into the paint, kind of a 14-foot floater off the mark, and then Johnson knocks it out of bounds. Owasso was there and got a little contact from Johnson, but just a ball knocked out of bounds as Johnson, who's aggressive on those rebounds, unable to get that one. Stockton with the ball. Vincent gets away from the pressure of Ledbetter, but has his shot blocked by Pippen. King down the left sideline. He's playing with 4 fouls, gives it up for Ledbetter here. Ledbetter into the paint, knocks over the defender, and an offensive foul called. Selling it was Isaiah Wright. Isaiah Wright listed at 6'2", 180. Ledbetter at 6'3", 195. So the bigger man knocked down the lighter weight, and that goes ahead and leads to a Spurs turnover. Dalton Hamas into the game. Hamas out there with King, Pippen, Shamanich, and Ledbetter. Here's Wright going around a Mika's screen down the left lane line. And then stepping out of bounds is Owasso, and Owasso gives the ball right back to the Spurs. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Plays over here in the arena, and a lot of Spurs fans are happy with a 20-point lead with 4:30 left to play in the third quarter. Tevin King surveying the defense as Stockton has gone back to a 2-3 zone. Hamas gets Vincent off of his feet and then knocks down the 3 in the corner as he was able to shuffle over one step to open himself up, and it's 79-56. Dalton Hamas up to 8 points for the Spurs. And then there's Mika with the slam as he found some space to elevate. Eric Mika, 6'10", 233 out of BYU with 14 points already. Came in averaging 18 rebounds, and he's a glass cleaner for these Stockton Kings. Marcus Graves will check in, and Isaiah Wright checks out. Ledbetter will inbound here as the Austin Spurs hold on to a 21-point lead. Shaman is at the top of the key underneath Pippen, and Pippen with the no-step dunk. All he had to do was pivot, find the rim, and elevate. And that leads to a timeout by Ty Ellis, and the Stockton Kings will take it with them. 3:43 left to play in the
This league was built to break. Built to break new ground, break molds, and shatter expectations. Built to break the idea of what it means to grow and to change. changed minds, changed the game. This league was built to break.
I'm having the game of my life, and you're missing it? That last one was for you.
3:43 left to play in the third quarter. The Austin Spurs lead the Stockton Kings 81-58. Chimezi Metu has been the game's high scorer with 17 points as he's on assignment from San Antonio. The Spurs have 4 starters in double figures, 11 from Dedrick Lawson and 10 apiece from Quindary Weatherspoon and Keldon Johnson. And as the Spurs get Jeff Ledbetter. Lincoln Rose joining us. Lincoln, what's up?
Blake Ahern in his speech, obviously things going well. They've noticed it's constant zone now on them. That believes Spurs will have a mismatch to take advantage of. Just need to keep being aggressive.
Yeah, it's interesting working against those zones. Thank you, Lincoln, for your update here as the Spurs commit a foul and Mika will go to the line and count the bucket and the foul. Here's another look at it as Guy finds Mika, and Mika catches the pass behind him but still finishes through the contacts as 3 Spurs were there. Mika doesn't get the and one free throw, and Pippen gets the rebound. Eric Mika with 16 points after that bucket and also up to 9 rebounds on the game. Cross-court pass deflected by Guy, picked up by King, bounce pass to Pippen, and Pippen loses it out of bounds. Knocked out of his hands underneath the basket, I believe, by Benson. 9 seconds to shoot for the Austin Spurs. And stepping out of bounds is Dalton Hamas, and Hamas tried to catch a high pass on the corner, and there's not much space there if you want to stay behind the three-point line. Turnover on the Spurs. For the Spurs, that is their 14th turnover. Stockton has only turned it over 4 times, and they've scored 10 points off the previous 13 turnovers, and they add 2 more on there as Eric Mika gets to the bucket for his 18th point. 81-62, Spurs lead by 19. They have the basketball. Šamanić at the top of the key. Knocks over Mika, and an offensive foul called on Luka Šamanić. Šamanić picks up his 4th personal foul, and the turnover on the Spurs is their 15th. Yeah, Šamanić lowering his shoulder into Mika, and the savvy player out of BYU knows how to hit the deck, but trust me, it takes a lot more than that for a big man like Mika, who's listed at 6'10", 233, to hit the floor. And then Hamas with the swat down onto the arm of Kyle Guy will initiate this and one opportunity for the rookie out of the University of Virginia. Pippen actually picks up the personal foul. He was right there. That was his 2nd. The Austin Spurs have committed 4 team fouls here in the third quarter. Keldon Johnson comes in the game for Dalton Hamas. Johnson gets the rebound right off of the bench. Keldon will back things up to the wing here. Šamanić at the free throw line. Into the paint. Shot good and a foul. Luka Šamanić adding on to his total. So far, he is only up to 6 points, but that'll help out his total, and he gets another opportunity to add on with a 1-point free throw. And Šamanić has 7 as he knocks the free throw down. The Spurs lead back up to 20. Mika. Graves finds Vincent on the wing, and Vincent gets past Ledbetter, but he was chased off the three-point line. His floater's well short and rebounded by Johnson. Šamanić here on the left wing. Johnson at the jump circle. Down the left lane line, and Johnson gets the bucket to go and a foul. Kelton Johnson cracks double figures as Vincent picks up his 5th personal foul. Another look at it here, and Vincent, yes, slaps down, and Johnson, who's been great at getting to the rim, finishes through the contact. Kelton Johnson looking for point 11 here at the free throw line. And Johnson actually gets up to 13, I beg your pardon, so he completes the three-point play there, and 87-64, the Spurs up by 23, and then a turnover by Stockton. Spurs will get it back. Only the 5th turnover by the Stockton Kings, and the Spurs scored 7 points on those previous 4 turnovers. 7 King into the front court. Lobbed it to Šamanić underneath Pippen. Pippen has a shot blocked by Mika, but Pippen recovers it, and Kelton Johnson will try a 3. That's off the inside of the rim and rebounded by Gaia. Fast outlet pass ahead to Graves, and Graves caught it underneath the basket, will pull back out, and Kyle Guy doesn't get his feet set and misses the 3. Guy a little too quick on those 3s where he tries to shoot off of movement. He's much better with his feet set. Here's Ledbetter, who knows how to shoot 3-pointers. He has that one roll off the rim, and it's rebounded by Demps. Graves pulls back his dribble as Johnson guards him. Around a Mika screen. Demps left wing 3. Yes. Cody Demps having a solid game, his 3rd year with Stockton. Šamanić on the left elbow, going against Mika, and he was fouled on the drive, and that'll be the team foul that puts the Kings into the penalty, and Šamanić will go to the line to shoot a free throw for 2 points. Foul goes against Eric Mika, and Šamanić knocks down the free throw. Mika picks up his 4th personal foul, and Šamanić adds to the Spurs lead. Mika has his shot blocked by Pippen, recovered by Ledbetter, and Mika hits the deck as Ledbetter pushes the break the other way. Pippen underneath the basket, tomahawk slam. The block on one side and the score on the other. Pippen knows how to play some basketball, and he is a defensive anchor for that 2nd unit for the Austin Spurs. Guy around Amika's screen tries a 3, and he gets that one to rattle home. Must have heard me talking about him shooting off of the movement. Johnson gets it to Pippen. Pippen has 2 seconds, tries a straightaway 3, and he gets it to go. Everything falling for Pippen here in the 3rd quarter. And he adds on to the Spurs lead. They take a 23-point advantage heading into the final frame. We'll go ahead and check that out on the review, but you can count it as he got it off in plenty of time. And that will do it. After 3 complete, the Austin Spurs lead at 93-70. We'll have more G League basketball. And here's another look at that block and score by Pippen as we head into the break. It's been all Spurs here today.
This game has the power to pull you in. All it takes is one incredible moment. It can happen anytime, in any city, on any night. And once you've witnessed what's possible, you can't wait to see what's next. Watch the NBA live.
Wow, HEB seafood is really good. I love the fresh salmon.
Yeah, I could eat these bacon-wrapped shrimp poppers and scallops all day. Sushi is my favorite.
Hold up, I just thought of an idea for a new HEB seafood commercial. Ahoy, mateys! Guess me favorite letter. R! No! A power's first love is the sea!
Are you out of your mind?
Probably.
HEB Seafood and Sushi. Guaranteed freshness. That's our hook.
Start of the fourth quarter here at the HEB Center at Cedar Park. The Austin Spurs lead the Stockton Kings by 23, 93-70. And Kevon Pippin has been doing it all. He has 12 points for the Austin Spurs. Here's a look at a block on one end, and he runs the floor with Jeff Ledbetter. He was able to find a lane and get that tomahawk slam, and he also got a three-point shot there at the end of the half that was counted, and that really helps out the Spurs' three-point shooting as they've knocked down 8 threes today. And they've attempted 22, so that's good for 36%. The other way, the Stockton Kings shooting the deep ball pretty well themselves. They're 11 of 27, 41%. So full court defense here to change up the passing lanes brought on by Stockton. Matt Farrell guarded by Isaiah Wright. He picks up his dribble, and Johnson's there to help him out, guarded by Demps. And Demps backs off of him. Ledbetter gives Johnson a fresh dribble. Farrell wide open for 12 seconds to shoot for Guy here who resets. Mika sets the screen for him. Shamanich shows the pass deflected, and Mika has it stolen away from him by Ledbetter. Ledbetter pushes the break the other way. The Kings do a good job getting back. Here's Johnson driving baseline from the corner, and he was fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot 2 free throws as Demps is the one who commits the foul. Demps commits his 3rd foul. Here's another look at it as the Spurs push the issue. First team foul on the Stockton Kings. Quindary Weatherspoon in for Jeff Ledbetter. Weatherspoon will inbound. Johnson around the Shaman screen into the paint. Ball swung around to Weatherspoon, who slows things up. Farrell drives to the block, gives it up to Shamanich. Shamanich backs down, then fades away against Wright and gets to spin around the rim and in. Shamanich puts the Spurs ahead 25. Guy guarded by Johnson, around the screen by Mika. Passes out of the shot and hits Mika rolling to the rim for the bucket. And Mika with 20 points. We are 10 minutes and 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Facing up is Metu. Jab step and jump shot is good over Mika. And Chmezi Metu having himself a good game in his second performance as an Austin Spur here this season. He has 19 points. Guys 3 off the back of the rim, and then Demps knocked it out of the hands of Metu, out to Mika on the wing. Demps is open for a corner 3 look. Shamanich clears the rebound. Weatherspoon into the front court. Picked up by Owasso. Farrell into the paint as he drives middle. And ball deflected out of bounds. Dalton Hamas will come back into the game as Lucas Shamanich heads to the bench. Spurs ball here. 12 seconds to shoot for Austin. Weatherspoon will let Metu create a little offense. He has 5 seconds to shoot. He's got to do something against Mika. Tries a long 2, and it's rebounded by Guy. Guy shifts gears past Johnson, takes it to the rim. The reverse layup with the left hand is good. Kyle Guy with a nifty finish as he elected not to pass that possession. Hamas drives baseline, finds Metu on a pocket pass, and then there's a foul that stops play. Goes against Owasso, who fouled Hamas on the pass. So Owasso picks up his 3rd personal foul. That's the 3rd team foul on Stockton. 9:15 left to play in the 4th. Kelton Johnson inbounds it to Farrell. 2-3 zone here by Stockton. They've been playing a lot of that here this ball game. Keldon Johnson drives baseline, goes up for the slam, blocked by Mika, and Johnson is able to recover it, and he misses the shot at the rim, almost gets his second offensive rebound on his second miss, and Owasso comes into the front court here. Owasso steps into a mid-range jumper and in rhythm knocks it down. "13 points here for Keldon Johnson as he's back on assignment after spending a game up in San Antonio last night against the Trailblazers. Johnson here trying to add on to that total. Instead, Farrell will have an open look for three. And the strong rebound goes to Guy. Guy takes him to the front court. Gets Mika underneath the basket, and Mika finishes at the rim. Blake Ahern doesn't like the look at it, calls a timeout. And 22 points for Eric Mika as he gets the easy transition dunk. Another look here as Guy plays the role of distributor, and Mika plays the role of finisher. 8:19 left to play in the fourth quarter. It's the Austin Spurs 97, the Stockton Kings 78.
This league was built to break. Built to break new ground, break molds, and shatter expectations. Built to break the idea of what it means to grow and to change. Change minds. Change the game. This league was built to break.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
$8:19 left to play in the fourth quarter. The Austin Spurs called timeout because a fast break bucket was a little too easy for Stockton. So Blake Ahern wants to get his team refocused because despite the lead being 19, you never know when that can evaporate in the final 8 minutes of a game. And the Austin Spurs will come out refocused by Blake Ahern as he gives instructions to Weatherspoon and Matt Farrell out of the timeout. Also on the court are Johnson, Hamas, and Chmezi Metu, and we're going to go ahead and check in with Lincoln Rose. Lincoln, what do you got?
Yeah, obviously Stockton has not made up a lot of ground on the score, but Ty continues to be very positive with the reinforcement, reiterating when his men are in the right position, including that last stop, something to build upon.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny as that's a interesting election to go into a 2-3 zone, but the Austin Spurs coming into this ball game were shooting 28% from three, but at the moment they're at 33%, so they've missed their only two attempts here in the fourth quarter, but they opened up the quarter shooting 36% on the game, and they're probably going to look to add to that here as change the score, and it's actually a 20-point lead for Austin. Chmezi Metu has the ball at the back of the basket against Mika. His reverse layup, no good. Almost got the English off of the glass, but instead it'll be a foul on Mika. Eric Mika's fourth personal foul, and Stockton has their fourth team foul called as you see the replay there. Metu trying to get a little creative with the finish. Mika a little too physical with the defense. 2-point free throw shot for Metu. And Chmezi Metu now with 21 points on his first game since the home opener and the season opener for the Austin Spurs back on the 8th of November. Guy wide open, yes. That was a three-pointer for Kyle Guy. Kings down by 19 now. Weatherspoon guarded by Guy. Johnson trying to figure out this 2-3 zone. Weatherspoon able to make one man get off his feet. The ball worked over to Farrell. Farrell opts to Weatherspoon. 5 seconds to shoot for Quindary. Quindary pulls up for a mid-range jumper, and it's either a shot clock violation or the ball out of bounds, but either way the ball will go to Stockton. Substitution into the game, Tevin King for Matt Farrell. 7:21 left to play in the fourth quarter. The Austin Spurs looking to close this one out with a strong defensive game to this point. Eric Mika will let Cody Demps try and back down against Dalton Hamas. Mika goes across the lane and a running hook goes off the glass and in. Excuse me, that's Cody Demps. And Demps was the one who finished with it. And they bring a little bit of a full court pressure, and Chimezi Metu brings it into the front court. 17-point lead for the Austin Spurs. Weatherspoon, left wing three. Doesn't get that one to fall, and here comes Owasso. Owasso, a floater in the paint. Offensive rebound by Mika. Guy doesn't want the screen from Mika, and he has 8 seconds to shoot as Johnson guards him. Now Mika will set the screen. Guy uses that, picked up in a switch by Metu, and then a foul called on Keldon Johnson as he was fighting around the Mika screen. And for Keldon, that will be foul number 2. As you get a look at it here. Yeah, just a little too much contact. I feel like the officials felt like they needed to call something, so Johnson is the one who gets whistled for his second personal. First team foul on Austin. Austin at the century mark. 17 points behind are the Kings. 6:24 left to play in the fourth. Kyle Guy will inbound. Mika hands it back off to Guy. Guy into the paint. Can't finish the layup. Keldon Johnson defended the shot and got the rebound. Farrell to Ledbetter. And a foul called here as Metu is trying to get position and Mika tried to get the steal. Ledbetter will inbound on the sideline. Metu right elbow. Finds Farrell. Farrell finds a lane to the paint. Good ball movement here leads to a Hamas three-pointer, and Hamas knocks it down. 9th three of the game for the Austin Spurs, and Dalton Hamas adds on to his totals. He hits double figures with 11 points. Guy doesn't get the short-range floater to go. Metu pulls down the rebound. Ledbetter. Hamas a corner three. And that one goes over the backboard out of bounds as it hits the shot clock. Luka Šamanić will check back in here with 5:31 to play in the fourth quarter. He might need to tuck in his jersey. Dalton Hamas comes out of the game. Šamanić, Johnson, Metu, the three Spurs on assignment on the court with Ledbetter and Farrell. The two sharp shooting wings, so the NBA players playing with some shooting to space the floor here as we look to close out the fourth quarter, and Austin finds themselves ahead by 20. Isaiah Wright in the front court, guarded tightly by Farrell, and then the foul called on Farrell as Wright got a shot up, and the shot was way off the mark, but Farrell must have been a little too physical on the defense, and the baseline official, Randy Richardson, whistles him for the personal. Another look at it here as not a good angle to see what Farrell really did wrong there, but either way, the free throw doesn't go, and Metu grabs the rebound on the floor. For Farrell, that was his fourth personal foul, and the second team foul on Austin. Šamanić between the jump circles. Farrell takes it into the teeth of the zone, and he can't get the floater in the lane to fall. Mika with the rebound, and Vincent will take it into the front court. And Ty Ellis wants his team to attack the rim, and Vincent does so, but doesn't get the layup. The rebound batted around, picked up by Owasso, and then it was knocked out of his hands by Ledbetter, but a foul, and Jeff Ledbetter picks up his fourth personal foul, the third team foul on the Austin Spurs. And I think, yeah, they do call it in the act of shooting here, so Owasso will go to the line to shoot the free throw. Yeah, as he put his hands up there, that indicated the act of shooting, and Randy Owasso, the 6'3 guard out of LSU, who also played with Texas Tech and Southern Utah. Last year for the Windy City Bulls, hits the free throw, and it's 103-85. Spurs with the lead in the basketball. And off-ball foul, as I think Demps knocked over Metu. Demps picks up his 5th personal foul, so one more and he's disqualified. Chimezi Metu will shoot a free throw for 1, as that foul put the Kings in the penalty. Another look there, and you know, the officials tend to call contact when a player the size of Chimezi Metu hits the deck. Metu, 6'9", 225, doesn't get the free throw to go. Shaman hits it in the air, and Guy brings it down. Guy to the block, a fadeaway. And then a loose ball foul, I believe, called on Chimezi Metu as he was fighting with Mika. And Metu picks up the 4th personal foul. That's the 4th team foul on Austin, too. And yeah, from that angle, you know, we had a pretty good baseline camera angle, and I'd say that's iffy. But either way, Metu is whistled for the personal, and Stockton gets 14 seconds on the shot clock. Vincent tries a 3. Yes. He shoots 46% from deep, and he goes ahead and only cracks his 8th point, as he's a 21-point-per-game scorer. I beg your pardon, he has 11. Here's King giving it up to Metu. Shamanich tries a right of the key 3. Yes. Shamanich knocking down the 3, puts the Spurs up 106-88. Guy loses the handle. Metu comes up with the steal. King in the front court. Ledbetter tries a corner 3. That's short, but the offensive rebound by Shamanich knocked out of his hands, goes out of bounds, and the official, Julian McFadden, says that was last touched by a player in black. I didn't quite see it, so I guess my opinion doesn't matter, and the Stockton Kings will have possession. They trail by 18. Vincent goes away from screen and tries a 3. Yes, back-to-back 3s by Vincent. He has 14. Gabriel Vincent out of UC Santa Barbara. Thomas thought about a 3, instead attacks the basket. His reverse doesn't quite get the touch. Owasso shifts gears into the paint. Euro step, has his ball knocked away from him by Ledbetter, and it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Jeff. A timeout called by Ty Ellis, as he wants to talk things over. He thought that there was a foul there. He's frustrated, at least about something. I think he thought there was a foul there, and he's not going to get help from the officials this time. 106-91, 3:09 left to play in the 4th quarter. The Austin Spurs looking for their first win here at the HEB Center. Stay tuned to see if they get it here on Twitch.
The basketball world has been turned upside down.
Oh, do you believe that one?
Now, it's anyone's game. Some are looking to make a memorable entrance.
Irving puts it up.
Others want to prove they never left.
Seattle, it's good.
And everyone has a chance to reach new heights. The time has finally come to see who will rise.
Finishes ferociously.
Watch the NBA Live.
(106-91), the Austin Spurs lead the Stockton Kings. 3:09 left to play in the 4th quarter, and three-point shooting has been a factor in this game. The Austin Spurs come into today shooting 28% from deep. They have brought that to 34.5% as we get a look at some three-pointers from both teams. Vincent, who shoots 46% from behind the arc, adding on a 3, and the Spurs themselves creating offense pretty well as Shamanich shows off his range with his three-point make. Shamanich, the assignment off of the bench, with 14 points on the ball game. That matches his average so far. Stockton is 14 of 32 from behind the arc, good for 44%. Demps, guarded by Ledbetter, tries to find some space. Good defense by Ledbetter, but better offense by Demps as he gets the kind touch off the rim. 106-93. Spurs lead down to 13. Tevin King in the front court is trapped by Guy and Demps, and a jump ball is called. The Spurs kind of left King out there to drive, but he also dribbled right into the pressure, and will have a jump at the main jump circle in the center. Yeah, King just crosses the line, and Guy and Demps converge, but honestly, I kind of think King might have gotten away with the travel and got lucky with the jump ball. King will jump against Guy. It's batted around and picked up by Mika. Turnover on the Spurs. That's their 16th. 14 points previously scored off turnovers. Mika gets the offensive rebound, second chance opportunity, and fouls here as Mika lost the handle. He'll go to the free throw line. Foul goes against Hamas. Another look at it here as Hamas does his best to box out the big man, and a little bit too much contact around the shoulders and waist area, and Mika will go to the line. Mika with 22 points and a 90% free throw shooter doesn't get that one to go. Chimezi Metu with the rebound. The 2-1-2 zone pressure full court forces the Spurs to commit a turnover. That's their 17th, and the Kings throwing some funky looks that you don't necessarily see consistently in the NBA, making the Spurs sweat here, trying to earn their win with 2:30 left to play. And here's Chimezi Metu giving it up to Ledbetter. Ledbetter and Metu combined there to give the Spurs the score off of the turnover. That's only the 8th turnover by the Stockton Kings, but the Spurs get it at a good time. And Kyle Guy knocks down the three. 108-96. Shamanich trapped as he crosses midcourt looking for some help. Lobs it to Chimezi Metu, and Metu has to tiptoe the sideline, and then he tries to save it to Hamas. Hamas saves it, and we have a jump ball whistled here by Randy Richards. I think the Spurs get a timeout here. Let's see again here what happened. There's the steal by Metu and then the layup by Ledbetter, but it seems like the Austin Spurs were able to get a quick 20-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. Minute 55 left to play in the fourth quarter. It's the Austin Spurs 108, the Stockton Kings 96, what was once a 23-point lead for the Austin Spurs, now down to 12. The Spurs want to make sure they close this outright as the Kings throwing some traps across midcourt that have made the Spurs almost turn it over twice, and they also brought on some full court zone pressure that led to a turnover. So the Spurs, who are losing the turnover battle in a bad way this afternoon / evening, want to get a timeout to calm themselves down. Spurs have committed 17 turnovers, in which Stockton has scored 14 points off of them, and then 8 turnovers for Stockton. The Spurs been efficient themselves, scoring 11 points off of those 8 Stockton turnovers. Quindary Weatherspoon throws him to the backcourt for Metu, and Weatherspoon comes to get it himself. Demps comes in to crash for a trap. Metu available on the wing for a pass. And Ledbetter will burn some clock. He has 10 seconds on the shot clock. He wants to screen from Metu. Cross court to Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon takes it to the lane line. His floater off the mark. Offensive rebound by Weatherspoon, and the reset to 14 seconds on the shot clock. Farrell will play a game of keep away with Jeff Ledbetter. Metu into the paint, and he bowls over a defender, and picking up the personal foul is Chimezi Metu as Gabe Vincent sacrifices his body yet again. Chimezi Metu picks up his 5th personal foul. For Chimezi, that is turnover number 3. Metu also has 2 steals, so his turnover to steals ratio is pretty solid at the moment, 2 to 3. was 2-2 there a moment ago before that offensive foul. That's the second time he's been whistled for an offensive foul. Hornset goes around a Mika screen. Kyle Guy tries a three, and it's a loose ball foul on the rebound. Matt Farrell picks up the personal. And as we look at it here, Farrell disagrees. Yeah, Farrell kind of undercuts Mika there and shoves him out of the position for rebounding. For Farrell, that's personal foul number 5, team foul number 5 for the Spurs. Mika goes to the line and hits the free throw, and as we are under 2 minutes in the fourth, we have the traditional rule of 1 point per free throw attempt, so no more 2-point or 3-point free throws. Mika splits the pair, but then Šamić almost knocks the ball into the basket, and now a trap on Ledbetter. Ledbetter able to break it ahead to Farrell. And Farrell thought that Ledbetter was on the far sideline. He'd kind of come to help out at the jump circle, and that's a turnover on the Spurs. And Stockton can cut it to single digits. The Spurs lead down to 11. Who wants 23? Hornset, and instead a straightaway three by Vincent, wide left, and maybe just barely glances off the rim, but it goes out of bounds. Team rebound for the Austin Spurs. 56.4 seconds left, and the Spurs can try and burn some clock here if they can get it across midcourt safely. And Farrell loses the handle, picked up by Guy. No call on the contact. Guy doesn't get the three to go. Ledbetter taps out the rebound. Mika gives it to Guy in the corner. Guy flails his feet and can't get the three-point shot to go. The rebound by Metu is knocked away from and picked up by Vincent. Here's Guy working against Metu, and Metu contests the shot pretty well. The rebound batted around on the floor, picked up by Vincent again. Underneath, Mika finishes with the dunk, but 30 seconds come off the clock there. And now a timeout called by Blake Ahern with 28.1 seconds left to play in the ball game, and the Kings have cut it to single digits, but it might be a case of too little too late. Stay tuned for the conclusion here on Twitch.
Welcome to the Cooking with the Spurs podcast.
Today's guest chef is Coyote, here to cook a meal.
Looks like Coyote sauteing some garlic, some onions, and some other stuff.
That's a lot of smoke.
Does anyone else smell burnt fur?
Coyote should have just grabbed one of HEB's Meal Simple option.
Yeah, those tasty meals would be nice right about now.
When life gets crazy, keep it simple. HEB Meal Simple. Chef-inspired meals ready in minutes.
You all right there, buddy?
28.2 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. They put up a tenth of a second during that timeout, and we'll see if that tenth of a second comes into play. I kind of doubt it, as the Austin Spurs are just going to try and inbound the ball, and if the Kings are serious about trying to come back from down 9 with 28 seconds left, they'll have to commit a foul almost right away. Jeff Ledbetter will inbound on the sidelines. Mandari Weatherspoon gets it to Chimezie Metu into the front court. Metu just holding on to the ball, trying to burn some time. Cross-court pass to Šamić, who jumps up for the pass, and then Farrell shoots a three at the end of the shot clock. Doesn't go, but the Spurs burn a full 24 seconds. Owasso loses the handle, and it rolls out of bounds. The Spurs get it back with 7.5 left, and I assume they'll dribble this one out if they even elect to dribble after the inbound. So the Spurs, 7.5 seconds away from officially picking up their first win here at the HEB Center at Cedar Park. And yeah, Weatherspoon might go ahead and put a dribble so he can move around a little bit, but he won't even do that much. He just leaves it off for our official Julian McFadden, and the teams will shake hands here on the sideline. Your final score here from the HEB Center at Cedar Park, the Austin Spurs 108 to the Stockton Kings 99. The Spurs' largest lead was 23 points on the ball game, and despite a competitive back and forth start to this ball game, the Austin Spurs took a double-figure lead, never really looked back until here in the final moments when Stockton was able to make the score more respectable, cutting it to single digits. We will go ahead and send it over to Lincoln Rose here, as he will be standing by waiting for an interview with a player and the coach, Blake Ahern, as we get a moment for the players and coaches to go ahead and finish up their post-game routines. Kavion Pippin here talking to the fans as he just appreciates them coming out for a Saturday ball game. And now we can send it over to Lincoln Rose, standing by with Pippin. Go ahead, Lincoln.
Carl, we've got Kavion, first home court victory. How does it feel to get the job done?
It feels great. Finally we got it done. We came out, did what we're supposed to do, played hard.
In addition to a team victory, what for you is a victory? Where were you trying to make strides today?
Just being aggressive, coming, get ready, just getting ready on offensive and defensive wise when my name was called.
Congratulations, Kavion. Carl?
All right, thank you, Lincoln. That was a nice soundbite from Kavion Pippin as he picks up his first win here in Austin as a member of the Austin Spurs. He was also a big part of the win in the Rio Grande Valley. And we thank him for joining us here as we wrap things up. So for Lincoln Rose, our sideline reporter, and our director, Robert Calder, the rest of the awesome Zodiac Sports crew, I'm Carl Schoening signing off. Thank you for tuning in to the Austin Spurs versus the Stockton Kings here on Twitch. Once again, your final score, 108-99. The Austin Spurs improve to 2-3, and the Stockton Kings fall to 2-3 on this young season. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, everybody.
Copyrighted telecast of the NBA G League may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise used.